All right, so I got this silly strap contraption on here, basically because I'm using it as a block to keep my arm tight against my body so I can train shoulder external rotation here. And basically what I'm doing, passively stretching and then going through pails and rails, and I'm doing that to train this anterior side of my rotator cuff, basically. So one, I feel a pretty significant limitation in how much my shoulder will externally rotate here. I can feel lots of tensioning on the opening side of the joint. So part of this is just about like training my specific shoulder to where I have the biggest limitation. But this is also really practical for me for bent pressing, because when I'm bent pressing this position, I need to be able to really get my shoulder into external rotation, especially if I'm using a dumbbell. The kettlebell, I can let my arm stay a little further forward since the weight's behind it. So I need this for a couple of reasons. And this is an aspect of my shoulder that I'm aware of, but this is the only position that I can really feel it. And this is something that I work with clients on a lot, is there's all these positions that we can train shoulder rotation. And there's the classic setup, sleeper stretch, laying on your stomach and training external rotation with your elbow in line with your shoulder. Those are awesome positions and I use them all the time. But at some point, we really need to explore how that joint moves and all of those different angles, because every angle that I put my arm in changes some aspect of tissue that I'm loading, even down to that really deep tissue of the rotator cuff. And sometimes there's limitations in specific angles, but not other ones. So how your joint feels in certain positions is a really good way to kind of diagnose where some effective training is going to be. And so, yeah, I mean, this setup is really specific to my shoulder. I've used it before with other people on a case-by-case basis, but this, you know, really the message here is the individualization of some of this stuff can't be underestimated. It really can make all of the difference. I mean, even on the same body, like my right shoulder, it doesn't need this setup. I have plenty of external rotation there, no limitations. Where I need to work more on this is up in this range for this shoulder. So again, it really just depends, but hopefully that gives some insight into kind of how we start tailoring this stuff when we're working with individuals.